Have you ever played a game and felt like you experienced something extraordinary? Have you ever doubted that feeling? That's basically Final Fantasy 16. The game will put you through some incredible, amazing moments that'll make you say, wow, this game is a masterpiece. And then it'll put you into something so boring that you're just gonna be let's go back in time for a little bit. You see, I knew Final Fantasy 16 was a thing, I just didn't care. I didn't become interested in the game until I heard that they would be releasing a demo for it. So I tried the demo and... what the fuck? We're not even 30 minutes into the game yet, and we're already thrown into the chaos. This is so cool. The music in this game was so incredible, and by the time you complete the demo, the story leaves you wanting more. If you bought the game after you completed the demo, I don't blame you. I also lost. It's over. And the action gameplay is so much fun. The moves are so flashy and satisfying to land. You can use the Phoenix to close in on an enemy. You can use Garuda's Claw to topple bosses. You can use Bahamut's Mega Flare to rain down on the battlefield. There are counter skills, charge skills, support skills. Then there are these skills that let you unleash a devastating amount of damage. So clean. You can easily mix and match these abilities to customize your loadout in a way that befits your playstyle. Also, did I mention that the music is amazing in this game? Masayoshi Soken. You better remember that name. I'm warning you. This game has some of the most craziest boss fights I've ever witnessed. These icon fights alone are worth the $70. The opera, the cinematography, and the way that the gameplay shifts around adds a lot to the spectacle of these fights. Just when you think they couldn't possibly match the sheer insanity of one fight, they... oh boy. There's not a whole lot of them, but when they do happen, it's so good. Even the normal boss fights were hyped to engage in. It's just fun trying to stagger the enemy and unload all the damage you possibly can on them. But also the QTEs, they're so cool. I get that they're not the most widely loved gameplay mechanic and that it's essentially the game playing for you. But here's the thing. I don't care. The choreography is sick. It's so hyped to watch it, especially when it aligns with the climax of the music. And besides, they're really only prevalent in the beginning of the game. They start to show up less for the regular boss fights and more for those icon battles anyways. And it's not just the QTE, some attacks are also just amazing to watch. God, shut up. This game is amazing. Okay, we can stop with the positivity now. Like any other game, it's flawed. Heavily flawed. And not only that, it was controversial among the Final Fantasy fans, arguing over the idea of what it means to be a true Final Fantasy game. Which, guys, have you read the title? Hello? I am not a Final Fantasy fan, or at least I wasn't. I have never played a Final Fantasy game before in my life. I also lie a lot. The only two Final Fantasy games I ever played were 7 and 10, and I only played them long enough to say that I played 7 and 10. I never left Midgar, and I completely forgot where I left off on 10. It's not because I found them boring, it's more like I was more interested in other games at the time. I'll get back to them, trust me. All of the things I vaguely heard and read about were about the lack of a party system, some story issues, the fact that it doesn't really count as an RPG, the whole debate between turn-based and action games, which could honestly be a whole video on its own. I don't know if I'm gonna make that. Maybe some other time. That's kind of the gist of what I've seen. And so as basically, by all accounts, an outsider, it's given me a lot to think about. The story, the world, and its politics. Clearly a lot of thought was put into this part of the game. The idea of the blight spreading across the land, limiting the resources and forcing neighboring kingdoms to war over them, the significance of the mother crystals in everyday life, the way the dominants and bearers are treated in their societies.
Save for our knack, dominants and bearers are no different from anyone else. The ability to use magic or summon great beasts should command respect, but instead has left us outcasts. Our kind are used and discarded like tools, yet we are men, so why must we die as less?
Sid's got some really good lines, man. And this game does not shy away from death. And also the frisky. Seriously though, people die when they are killed in this game. It's crazy. Right, Joshua? There are moments in the story where the stakes start to rise, finding yourself going from battle after battle as you reach those climactic moments, such as those icon bosses. But those attention-grabbing moments are sometimes riddled with a bunch of dead space. I often find myself waiting for the next big flashy thing to take center stage, and that can take a while. Certain side objectives just feel pointless, asking you to go back and forth with only a few characters, only to have a meaningless conversation or to solve some minor problem that's preventing you from progressing. It almost feels like filler. This is not needed. Let me get to the cool stuff already. And it's not like the game shouldn't have these slower moments. It's that contrast that makes those big, spectacular battles memorable in the first place. But God, couldn't we make these a little more interesting, please? I mean, some of them were kind of interesting in a story sense, but like, I don't like walking around following mission objectives, okay? I was invested in Clive's personal journey the moment the demo ended, and he became a character I grew to like over the course of the story. I liked his relationship with Jill and his brotherly love for Joshua, and how he gradually learns his place in the world. A lot of which he learned from Sid, who kind of acts like the mentor. Seriously, Sid is like the best character in this game.
We should hurry before it gets dark.
But what if someone discovers the bodies?
Well, and they'll be sorely disappointed.
Even the villains were well developed. They managed to make me hate one of them. But honestly, it sometimes feels like some of these characters were just alright. I didn't even realize Otto was introduced here in this cutscene. And I still don't even remember this one guy's name, even though I just met him again. I wish we could have seen more of Sid. I wish we could have learned more of Jill's backstory while she was in the Ironblood Kingdom. And whatever happened to the plot point with the bearers? It was sort of just dropped in favor of having the big bad be this godlike entity. And why do these people always give me a badge? I don't know, kind of unrelated, but it's just like, why? I'm sure some of this is expanded upon through side quests and lore entries, but yeah, I didn't really do much of the side quests. Look, can you blame me? I only did a few in the beginning, and what I found was that they were boring to complete. They were worth it to learn more about the world and its characters, but I don't even remember what kind of weapons or items I got from completing them. I don't even know if they were useful, and clearly I was more invested in how the story was gonna play out anyway, so I don't know, I guess I'll just come back to those later. I don't think this game needed to be turn-based, but I also don't think this game needed to be an action RPG to win over new fans. Not everybody wants to react to things in real time and deal with the overwhelming amount of special effects. Neither are inherently better than the other. They're both just styles of gameplay at the end of the day. I would have still played this game if it was turn-based. It might have turned out differently, but I still would have tried it out. At the end of the day, they decided to make an action RPG, and if you really want to play a turn-based RPG, go play Octopath Traveler. But you know, for an action RPG, it sort of lacks that RPG part. Technically it is, but like, you can't convince me that this isn't just a character-focused action game similar to Devil May Cry. You are stuck with Clive. Joshua is sometimes playable, but that's for very specific scenarios. Technically there are party members that will help you for certain missions, but they always change out. Sometimes you're alone, or sometimes you're with a full party, and you can't even control the characters. If they only had let you do that, then they could have probably solved the issue with the fact that this game kinda lacks depth. You're stuck with the same basic attack from the beginning of the game all the way till the end, and the only variety you can add to it is by chaining it with magic attacks or unlocking the lunge. And that's about it. He never learns any new combo routes throughout the entire journey. Weapon variety could have helped solve this issue as well, but he's just stuck with the sword. Why not give him a lance or an axe? That would have probably helped spice things up. Really, the only thing you can customize about his moveset is just his icon abilities, and you don't even get them all until you get close to the end of the game. And the equipment isn't that much better. They only really allow you to alter the cooldowns and maybe increase the damage of specific icon abilities, which I think helps? I don't know, it's really hard to tell. And as for the swords, they only ever really increase your damage and stagger and nothing else. They don't add anything else. Elemental weaknesses don't really exist in this game, and neither do status effects. I mean, they're technically there, I think, but like, I don't know what this means. And I don't know how much more damage I'm getting out of it. Basically what I'm trying to say is that the gameplay is shallow, but I still find it to be fun. I just wish there was more to it.
That's enough.
It's a bit disheartening. I made the mistake of watching a critical review as I was playing the game. This shifted my mindset from enjoying the game to noticing all those flaws and thinking about the points that were made. It's left me confused as to whether or not I enjoyed this game. But then I listened to the music. I remember those fights and how exhilarating they were. I think of the characters I grew to like, even if not all of them were memorable. And then I remember the story moments that left an impression on me, even if it took a while to get there. Then I would hear from my friend how much he also enjoyed the game. The game may have its problems, and it may fail to live up to the expectations of some fans. But that doesn't mean you should shy away from trying this game out. It's an unforgettable experience, filled with incredible highs and staggering lows. Don't let the negativity stop you from experiencing this masterpiece, because Final Fantasy XVI is worth it. Alright, video's over. Moral of the story, game good. And also I need to play all the other Final Fantasies so I can find out why people are so touchy about the modern games. Who knows, maybe I'll be a hater too. But yeah, anyways, if you liked this video, consider liking. That's all I'm gonna ask. I don't know why it always takes me like a month plus to make a video, but it does. I don't know, it's a learning process, I tell myself at night. But with that, I am gone.
A wyvern.
I can see that. Doesn't happen to be a friend of yours, does it?
Won't ask you again, Wyvern.
Oh, I get it.